So today's lesson is about input and output for a computer. So when you think about a computer, there's lots of information that it receives from us. One of the key things that we might type in is using like a keyboard. So the keystrokes and we type in, right? That would count as an input. Another thing could be like a picture that we take with the camera, or if we scan something in, or if we talk into a microphone, or if we're using the webcam, or if we're using a joystick, a mouse, a trackball. Any of these types of things is information that we are putting into the computer, and those are the inputs. Now, the computer takes all that information, and it does something with it. It processes the information, and then we'll send back out output to us. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to use this app right here. And this is called the Ultimate Pet Chooser right over here. So we're going to put input on here. And if we just click on information, give it information, it will give us something back. So that's what we're going to try to do right now. So if you notice right here, it says click here to start. Now, if I click here to start, nothing happens. That's because to get this to work, we're going to have to click down here where it says run. Once we click on run, by the way, that's an input right there, it then knows that we can start to use this app, but it won't do it until that point. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to click on run. And then now I can click here and we can use everything. So let's try it right now. Click here to start. It says, are you allergic to pet fur? Well, you'll have to put in for yourself. So I'm going to say, no, I'm not. Do you like going outside? I do. I love going outside. So I'll click on yes. Would you rather go with the crowd or be different? And I'm going to say for me that I'm going to be a little bit different. Now, it says, get a goat. So that's a very simple thing that just happened right there. Okay, we put in all the information, and based on the information, it outputs, right? So the inputs were the three things that I clicked on right there, the three pieces of information. Based on that, it spit out a recommendation about the type of pet we have. This is a very simplistic app, but it worked well, I thought, in terms of giving information right here. And it was kind of fun at the end to see what happens there. So this is like a type of app. It's a very simple one, but you could see the input and the output that was used right there. So now I can click on finish, and then I'm done with that. I can click on continue, and I can go into the next one. All right, so here's another version, something similar. Try out this app that creates a custom story for you. What are its inputs? What are its outputs? That's what I'm thinking. So again, it won't work until I click on run, and now I can type in the information. So it says name. So what do I want to put in for a name? Let's say Mortimer. Color, we'll go with purple. Food, eggplant. Emotion, anxious. City, Wakanda. All right, it says make a sci-fi story, make a Western story. Well, because I said Wakanda there, let's make it a sci-fi story. Let's see what happens. Click on that. Once there was an alien named Mortimer who wanted to take over the Earth. It came down and started shooting purple lasers everywhere, but soon it got hungry and decided to stop for eggplant. It suddenly became anxious and realized it could never destroy a planet with such deliciousness. So Mortimer decided to move to Wakanda and eat eggplant every day. So that's the story that I put right there. Now, was some AI creating this artificial story for us and wrote down all these things? This was a human programmed this entire story, but you can see everything that's capitalized right here. Mortimer. Purple, those details. It's like Mad Libs, right? They did not include them. We included that, and then it made it into a story. So we wrote a custom story, and that's how it worked right there. So we can see that this is its output, and we gave it the input. Finally, we're back over here. Now it says improved pet chooser. Before we had the regular pet chooser, but now this one is supposedly improved. So what we could do right here is we click on run, and let's see how it improved. We click here to start. You're allergic to pet fur? No. Do you like going outside? Yes. Rather be different or go with the crowd? Different. Get a goat. Now it says find it. Okay, so everything was the same except for this part where it says find it. So let's click on that now. The closest pet shop. And now what it does is Downtown Pets and More, 1584 Maple Street, open now. So I want you to think about this. It says, what are the new inputs? What is the source of the new inputs? So right here, it's telling me what the closest pet shop is. That's the output right here. It gave us something new that it never gave us before, which is the location of the closest pet shop. So what would be the source of the new input? So I want you to think about this for a second. Maybe it's super obvious and you're screaming it out right now, but I want you to think. How did it know that this was the closest pet shop? What input could I have given into it without maybe even me realizing for it to tell me this? Have you figured it out? Well, if it's using maps, it must then know my location. You know how sometimes at the top it'll say, this site wants to know your location. And hopefully you most of the time say, no, you don't need to know my location. But depending on your location, it will change. So if I'm going to the nearest AMC website, AMC is a movie theater chain website. If it's asked you to know if they can know your location, it's then going to cater the recommendations based on the movie theaters that are near you. They're not going to show me one in Topeka, Kansas. I don't even know if Topeka is in Kansas, but you get my point right here, right? They're only going to show the nearest ones to me. So that's what this did here. It's showing you that you can go to a pet shop and here's the nearest one. This one is obviously a lot more useful than the original one. So that's why it's the improved pet shop chooser, because you can actually do something about it and go and get your animal there if you so choose. However, I would not have been able to do that if it didn't get the input of my location. All right, and then you are finished with this lesson.